Hey everyone, welcome to this ever-changed Devstream. I've got a Lepre with me here again, and we're going to be working on music again, just like last week. I made a lot of progress off camera, and we'll be showing that off again here soon. I made a lot of progress off camera, and we'll be showing that off again here soon. Just finishing getting set up here. It'll just be one sec. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm just going to actually show what we were able to get working over the past few days. So this doesn't sound great, but the instruments are there and it's kind of working. And there's actually a song that's working much, much better than that. So this one works almost 100%. The tempo is a little bit off, but you can clearly tell what it is. And if anyone was here for the stream last week, you know what the broken bagpipes of Celeste sounded like. So it's really an improvement. So this stream, it's pretty much just going to be Lepre and I just kind of going back and forth, trying to finish mapping out the remainder of the audio files. So Lepre, I think that, well, so this is the struct that you had pasted to me from that series of images. This is the actual like inner table part of it. There's an array of these. I think this is probably most of the information that we need to actually generate those sound fonts. The way that these files are set up is really weird. So that particular struct is contained in two places. I'm just going to open up a couple of SSHDs here. Let's see, 5820 is the main menu music, and then 5739 I think is the main menu button sound. Yeah, okay. So the first one of those tables starts right here at file 0, and it starts right here. So we've got these entries here, and they belong to this table. So that's a root file in the SSHD, but they can actually also occur inside of the SSSQ-ish files, which is what this uses, like the SSSQ file that's embedded and does not have the full header.
Yeah, I think that's also for the character sound effects.
Yeah.
The embedded one.
So it's got one of these tables as well, and it's in the same kind of list, but the parameters at the start are actually different.
Yeah,
Um,
there's the FF. It starts with FF always.
yeah, and so that's kind of the weird part. Um, when they're a root file, that first value actually the first byte says how many entries there are, but when they are a subfile of the SSSQ-like file, they don't actually have a length.
Yeah, but there's only one list in
Nope,
that case.
there's two in this one.
There are two different
Yep, one
chess.
starts
That
one starts here, and then the other one starts here. I was able to calculate the sizes of them using just using the pointer locations and the total length of the file. Um, but
okay. So
it's kind of weird and kind of somewhat concerning
so
that these bytes here mean different things.
so the first bytes here, actually the 0001 means the two files.
Hmm.
06 is the first offset, and the
Yep.
OE is the second offset, if I'm seeing that correctly.
Yes, that is right. So this is where the first sublist starts.
Oh,
Um,
oh, hmm. Yeah. So it's the same packing structure as everything else in this.
it is, and it's the same packing structure as is used here. However, these bytes, the 14 bytes at the start of each of these entries, means different things, and I'm not sure what's up with that.
Uh, you. I'll open them. So it's 5739.
Yep, and 5820.
5739.
You can see when it's a root file, the first byte is the length, or sorry, is the count of those OX 10 byte entries. That has all of the data related to the samples. But in this version, in the SSSQ-like file, it's different. Can I open these side by side? If I do, oh yeah.
Yeah, it could be nice if you could show me the different types of headers that there are. Actually, don't need the pointers, just from the flag. The start is fine.
Yeah, okay, so this is where first,
OS, yeah.
the first list of those starts in each.
The other one is for OE. 40 should be roughly here.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Um, where does this one start? Right, this one only has an 8-byte header.
Should always be 8 bytes, I think, for these files.
Um, hold on. Does that make sense? It should be. That would put this here. There's 7 entries. No, there's not 7 entries. hold on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was misaligned here. Okay, so these are the headers for both of those. It looks like the
Yeah, they should always have the 7F40 000C flag.
yeah. Okay, so it looks like these are the same. These values here mean the same
Hmm.
thing, but for some reason these don't have a
This one should have, the second one should have 10 entries, right?
it has 11 because it's n plus
This
1.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For some reason, the FF seems to indicate that there's like more than 16.
This one has 64.
Yeah, the file I was looking at had like 1, 2, 3. Let me count this.
Yeah, so this has 64, and then I think this one had 3C, but they both have FF for the count byte.
Yeah, 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 I saw one that had like 41 or something like that.
Yeah, for whatever reason, when they're in the SSSQ like files, they just have FF for the size. Okay. Um,
Yep.
count when it's root filing SSHD, but when it's
Actually, not
filing
entirely sure
okay.
what the first nibble means.
The first nibble of this byte, the count byte. Um,
In the SSHQ file for the what was it, the menu music, the 5820. If you look at the SSHQ data, one of them has 82 for size. It does have 2 entries. I have no idea what the 8 at the start means.
Um, yeah, I did find that, but I have no idea what.
Not even be like used. It might be something that
Yeah, here we go. Um, yeah, so this is that check here. Oh, look here. Look, it's checking. It's checking to see if it's one of those FF files.
hmm. And so what does the 80 mean? That's really...
Yeah, so if it's 80, they do this weird thing here. They add 80 and then mask off to a single byte, which I'm pretty sure is equivalent to just NANDing it with 80.
Then nothing... Oh, wait. The last value is set to 0 instead of 1
Yep.
OC
And it
value.
also
And
sets, yeah, so for
the
the
other thing
FF
should
files,
be...
for the FF files, these both get the same thing. These variables, I'm not sure exactly what they mean, but right below they're used as the starting and ending indices of a loop.
Oh,
So if 80 is set, then the only difference is that that OC value gets set to 0 instead of 1.
yeah,
So
wonder
what
what that OC actually is.
it causes this loop, yeah, it causes this loop to break after the first iteration where this is true by the looks of it. Yes.
So it's
Okay.
like an end loop thing?
So if 80 is set, it repeats. That's what that means. That's got to be it, right?
Oh, so it's loop value, right?
Yeah, that's got to be what that means.
It
Um,
kinda could make sense because it's I think it crashed. Oh no, it recovered for me.
okay. Um, so what was I saying? Presets. Presets in a sound font are they're kind of what controls which instruments receive which notes. Um, so this method here looks like it is basically checking to see if a note falls within the key range of that preset. See this here?
Hmm.
And if it does, then we get into this code here. And at the end, we have that check. And if OC is not 0, or if it's true, then we break. So if OC is 0, then I think it's going to play a bunch of different instruments at once. Hmm. That's that. Does that make sense?
Um, Trying to think of like where that would actually happen. The in the menu sound.
I'm not convinced it does do that in the menu sound because we don't have
Wasn't it?
those. We don't have those OX80 flags.
But there is in the 5820 there is one of those flags somewhere
Um,
in the SSHQ file.
in the SSHQ file.
Mhm.
Um, what is the offset?
That will be hard to calculate. Okay, so
When
it's
you say the
the second batch.
when you say the
Oh, wait, wait,
SSSQ file, do you mean an embedded one?
wait. Yes, it should be embedded. In this case,
And
I think.
it's the menu music.
Should be the menu music, yes.
I don't think the menu music has one of those embedded SSSQ files.
Maybe it's the regular SS. I have it like here in my notes for the 520 SSHQ. Let me check the wait. Scroll down in the
So the thing is, the SSSQ files don't have these tables.
um I'll find it. I'll find it and
Okay.
tell you the offset.
Drew asked, is the reason you did some music dev because you needed to do sample-related stuff for sound effects anyway? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that, Drew.
Okay, so it's in the SSHD file
Okay.
and it's on the offset of uh, this is the 9 and wait, that's 9, the one above it,
You can just give me the absolute offset.
set of 19E.
19E.
You do
so
FF and continues on the next line.
So 19E should be, if this is part of this struct, then that would be 1E for the offset. Yeah, okay.
Which is there.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It might have something to do with the fact that if you look at the file above it, it doesn't have, it only has the settings and just one entry. So perhaps that like matters, that it's like a really small file, but like I have no idea why that's the case.
Yeah, Drew, to be honest, it was kind of just a random burst of inspiration. That's kind of just how I do all the work on here. Just whatever I feel like working on, I just do.
I guess I did too much stuff with the audio.
Yeah, Elepri had started messing around with some of the audio stuff, and I just kind of jumped on board. Okay, so this is a Boolean. My 2G says, this seems more like a work conference than a Devstream. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
The answer is yes.
Yes, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Okay, so let's take a look at this here for a second and see if this is actually just a NAND in disguise. It is, right? Like, let's take...
Plus 80.
So we got 82 plus 80.
Just, yeah, that's just...
Yeah.
It's just the value.
Yeah, so instead of this silly thing, we're just going to NAND it with 80. And we don't need all the comments explaining what's
No,
going on
wait. It's not an NAND with 80. It's actually the value that's set on the bytes. So you just want to OR the count with 80. It's an OR.
No, we're getting rid of the 80. This is if the 80 is already set. Yeah, if the 80 is already set.
If the 80 is set,
so
didn't
like,
it do plus the count plus 80 and FF?
Yeah, so like if we've got 82 like in the file, and we add 80 to that, and then AND with FF.
Oh, right. That's true, right?
Yeah.
Count is actually like both of the bytes, not just the one nibble.
Yeah. Okay, so that is one more mystery figured out.
It actually might be like a compiler optimization.
It probably is. Although, actually, they did do some very, very strange bitwise stuff in various spots. Because all of the data from MIDI comes in as unsigned 7-byte or 7-bit bytes.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's weird. I've removed all that weirdness, but that was kind of a straggler. What was F7 or S7? Okay, so I wish we could easily modify files to use in an emulator, because it would be if we could just edit that and pop it into an emulator and see what happens, that would make it so much easier. I am going to try and extract some information from here. What was
I mean,
the...
we could like mod the disk and play the modded disk on an emulator.
We could, but that would be a lot of work.
It wouldn't be that bad.
So the
Just
sound
need to
offset
find
is...
the offset and just add it to it. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a rocket science.
Yeah.
Except in rocket science, you just press the red button and hope it doesn't explode. So this is exactly like rocket science.
Exactly. 2d40 times 8, 16a0. That should be the start of a file. It is not. Am I in the right place? Yes, I am. What am I doing wrong? Offset 4 should be the file offset into the sound bank. 2d40. Yeah, 2d40 times 8. Am I missing
Wait,
something
are you
here?
at the correct? Wait, let me check my thingy
Am I misaligned here?
here.
I don't think I'm
So the
misaligned.
F7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 2D 40 should be the thing.
Yeah, 2d40 times 8 should give us the offset. Did I punch in the wrong number? I sure did. I
You
missed
do
a
like
0. Okay, so now I just want to count how many, I want to count what file index this is. So 0, this is not a good way to do this. What's a better way of doing this?
just copy the zeros and search all on the file.
Yep, that is a much better idea.
That gives you. You need to make it all directions as well.
I think I just want to go backwards.
But that's fine as well. Okay. But
Okay.
like if you do it on all, it gives you the offsets as well. The search table.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13, so I'm going to go into P sound. Sector Dragon 0, 58, 20. Sound bank, yes, start, close, 13. Did I start at 0 when I was counting? Alright. 0, 1, 2, 3,
No,
4, 5, 6,
12.
7, 8, 9, 10,
Started
11,
at
12,
1.
13. No, it is 13. so that's that sound. And the next one is 28D0. 14. Why does this folder keep popping up? I'm not pressing anything to do that. $14,680. That was both before it? Yeah, it is before it, okay. Yeah, so that's number 11, or number 12 rather. Okay, so those are the different lead guitar tones. 12 and 13 are the lead guitar tones. These three sounds are in one subfile here. So this must be one preset made up of those two different instruments. The lower pitched lead guitar sound is used twice with slightly different parameters. And this is the one that has the 80 flag set. So I'm thinking that they're doing this in order to layer the guitar.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would make kind of sense. He uses both of those at the same time.
Yeah, or all three of them even.
The 82 has three, yeah, it's probably all three at the same time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. Okay, so I'm gonna add a comment there. Went into some file, blah blah blah. And this is a subfile of that. Flag 0x80 is set on the count. Then all instruments in the preset are played at once.
The code made it only when it was exactly 80, right?
No, it's if it's ANDed with 80.
So the FF would...
It does an FF check first.
And then it's an else block, right?
Yeah. So if it's FF, then
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, that makes sense.
then it only plays one instrument, and it's whatever this is. Yeah. Okay. I understand. Okay. So this is starting instrument. This is ending instrument.
So it's the O.
One sec. I gotta close SkiDraw on my
If it's
laptop.
FF, it's copying the values from what exactly?
If it's FF, then it uses one specific instrument. It doesn't do... Well, I guess it does still check to make sure that instrument is...
It's taking the values of some
Yeah,
register.
it's using the note, and it's using whatever offset 6 is in the header. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, is that right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so in this case it's 0.
That should be the starting key position if the docs are right.
Okay. So it takes the note minus the starting key position. Do you know what a starting key position is? Because I don't.
I have no idea.
Hey Chris, welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. So I guess whatever a starting key position is, this is going to give us the difference between those, the note. For key on, the param 0 is the note. So I can actually, oh yeah, I do have that in there. S7 is instrument index. Yeah, hopefully is always the keyword.
Reminds me of brainfuck. I think it's brainfuck that
Yeah.
has the keyword please. If you don't use please enough in your code, it doesn't compile it and tells you you're not polite enough.
Yeah, I thought brainfuck was the one that was all spaces and tabs, but I might be wrong.
Right, that might be
Oh
the one.
no, this is brainfuck. It's all just stack operations.
Uh,
Intercal is what you're.
intercal.
Yeah. I think intercal was one of the very first. Yeah, 1972.
I like how they made a documentation, a bunch of logical gates.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty great. Unary XOR operator, just in case you want 0 but fancy. Anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So, what should we call this? This method checks to see if an instrument is appropriate for the notes. I wonder what A0 is there.
So that probably is what the starting key position is, right? No, that's the root key.
I'm gonna assign Streamlabs high priority just to hopefully make sure that it doesn't die like it did last stream. That is a lot of things. How do I even do that in Windows 11? Do I have to do it in details? Set priority high. Yes, I want to change the priority. Okay, so this method is going to be called What is it going to be called? I'm bad at naming stuff. Somebody help.
Okay, so in the docs, it says that the starting key position is unsigned 8-bit. If it's OX48, it's the C6 key.
Okay.
And then it says or less, then will play usually 0. Not a sentence.
Yeah, I was a bit confused by those images too. So I think maybe what's going on here is that the key ranges is just an offset from the starting key position. You know what I mean? So like
That was
the min and max
what
key
I was
range.
thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Then there's also wait. So there's the root key, right? It has the offsets to both direction.
Yeah.
You don't have to start the root key. You can start at the start key.
Okay. Do you have some other names here for me? Oh, look,
That's
I
the worst.
put it might be root note. So let's try and describe this. The starting key from which each instrument min and max key offset is relative.
So that's, and above it should be the max and min, right?
Pardon?
The values above it should be the minimum key range and maximum key range.
Does that apply on the outer list as well as the inner structures? Because they've got min and max key range. Let me take a look at what you pasted
Wait,
there.
maybe root key here, but the starting key doesn't calculate the offsets, right? Maybe the offsets are calculated of the root key here from this structure. The other structure tells you where to start in that range.
Yeah, this is the outer structure here. So from what you've got pasted there, it looks like the only other one that is known is that this is patch volume.
Yeah, that's the patch volume. Then there should be...
Hold on though. We've got too many bytes here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this should be, so what that's saying is this should be count, this should be patch volume, this should be, oh, I skipped a couple here, that's why. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, yeah, starting key position. Okay, everything's fine. I'm gonna
It
space
should be
these out.
count, patch volume, the 4 bytes of the weird flag, and the starting key position.
Yeah, those aren't flags. I know that for a fact. The first value is used in panning. I'm
Huh.
guessing that's just, yeah, okay, 40. 40 is middle pan, so that's pan.
That's why the most pan is 40. That makes sense.
Yep, so that value is pan. I do
There are
not
2
know
pan
what this
values.
is.
That's nice to know.
Actually, there's at least 3.
Right.
There's pan
What
on
would you do
the
with number 2?
there's pan on the instrument list. There's pan on the instrument. There's another pan on whatever this is. That's the entry in the SSSQ file. This is well, you want to see a bunch of different values for the same thing. This is the volume calculation.
Oh yeah. I saw that already.
Okay, so let's see if we can figure out what this is. So this is being used in polyphonic key pressure.
I just read the comment from My2G. FYI to future watchers, replay the vid and do a drinking game every time they say Keith, take a shot. That's a very, very good way how to end up in a hospital.
Yeah. Right, okay, so this is the only value of calculate sample rate I wasn't able to figure out. So let's leave that for now. Let's see if we can figure out what this is. This is kind of the same deal. Okay, so that value is used as an index into the subfile that is a waveform.
01. The one that's usually 0, right?
It is the last value of what you have listed as flag.
So the 7F as an index?
Please hold. Yeah? So it's...
So 7F would be like -1?
No, that's 127.
Oh no, wait. 127, yeah.
Yeah, so this is how it's used. And yeah, you can see it's in the outer... So that's selecting which waveform. Huh. I don't know. That's another question we can worry about later. So this is starting to make sense, though. No, not instrument. Well, I suppose. I don't know. Okay, this is a bit weird. So this is an actual, yeah, that's going to be an actual absolute note value. Now it's getting set on the ending instrument and starting instrument. So, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. That's going to take some more exploring. Okay, that is modulation. This might be modulation enabled. Yes, it is. Make sure I actually did that right. Okay, definitely modulation enabled. Very, very clear from this method. And I'm thinking 8 might be pitch bend enabled. Maybe not. No, I'm thinking probably not. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many volume values in this structure.
Oh, dog. Okay. Isn't there a volume from the outer structure as well?
Oh, there's just volume on volume on volume. Okay, so this shouldn't be too difficult to figure out. What is byte offset 3 for the mod wheel? I don't have that. MIDI modulation wheel. Spec, I guess. Yeah, it's not really what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is control change, temporam 0. Param 0 is offset 1, I think. Yeah. Offset 1. Offset 2 is the modulation. But those control... what is... Those control messages should only be 3 bytes long. Am I missing something here? This is something different. Yeah, one should be mod wheel MSB. I am confused. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the name, to be honest with you. How far back in my back button history was that? The answer is very. Gotta give it a name that at least makes some sense. I guess instrument can play note is fine. It's not very exciting, but it does the job. Checks if the note falls within the instrument key range.
Wait, and then the count gets passed to the can instrument play notes. Checks for the FF there as well? I see that correctly?
It checks to see if... Okay, so we just renamed this value, so that actually tells us what A0 is. So if that is in fact patch volume, then if patch volume is FF, that means that it plays every note?
That is weird.
Yeah. Okay, we're
So
gonna
that
leave
means
a...
it shouldn't be volume then.
If this value is 0xff, then...
Not that I've seen any spot where it would be FF, but okay.
Hey Lloyd, how's it going? My 2G says as long as you can remember the name, it should be okay. That would be assuming that there isn't like 10,000 method names to remember. I assure you I can't remember any of them.
It's the kind of the spirit behind writing good code. If you have to remember stuff, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, for the most part, definitely.
Every good software developer I know has like the memory of like a goldfish.
Yep. There's way too many things to remember. I'm doing all right. We're making pretty good progress here, actually. Okay, I don't think there's much more that can be gleaned from here for now. What is that? Key on is velocity, so if velocity is 0, it just turns it back off. The nice thing about giving names to some of these things is that we can kind of cascade a lot of that information to other structures.
Yep. It's kind of a shame that all of this will essentially get thrown away after.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same as all the graphics code too, right? Spent a ton of time rewriting all that stuff and understanding it all. And, you know, it's gonna get rewritten and, you know, converted to a modern format, but if we don't do it, then we won't understand it. What was I just looking at? Right, this is polyphonic key pressure. Key pressure, should be just 0 and 1, but it's using parameter 2 here. But the way that's being read, I think in this case parameter 2 should be the trailing value that says how long to wait until the next event. But that's a variant, so wouldn't that possibly only be reading part of the variant? I don't really know. Yeah, Legend of Dragoon was the first, like, real RPG that I ever played. Or the first, like, really big RPG, I guess. I'd played the Pokemon games, of course, and, I can't remember if Magi Nation and Golden Sun would have come before or after Legend of Dragoon, but those were two other games that I played a lot.
Played some adventure games before. I don't know if those are considered RPGs or not by today's standards.
Yeah, I mean, stuff
Sort
like,
of RPGs?
stuff like Zelda and, Metroid and stuff they have some RPG elements for sure, but, you know, they're also, like, mostly adventure, I guess.
I'm talking like Space Quest here.
Yeah, I've never played Space Quest. Yeah, I played it because my friend had a copy of it. And I remember we went over to his house and we were fighting the last boss for the very first time, and I swear to God it took us like 3.5 hours to beat it. This is a bit weird. It's comparing note number to 1. This is data entry, which I'm not entirely clear on what that does. it seems to be maybe some non-standard stuff. Here it's setting reverb type, here it's setting volume directly. This I've never seen used. The other ones all seem to be setting ADSR values. Yeah, right. This entire format is like a double bastardization of the MIDI spec. The original PlayStation 1 sound format was like, it wasn't MIDI because MIDI was very expensive to license, but it was basically MIDI. And then this is like a transitionary format that Sony was in the process of developing. So it's kind of like halfway between the PS1 kind of MIDI format and then also halfway to the PS2 kind of also MIDI format.
Definitely not MIDI TM.
Yeah, definitely not. It definitely didn't take me like 45 minutes to write a MIDI converter for it. That is almost identical. Now what is this? Alright, that's more probably non-standard stuff. I'm not entirely convinced about this being instrument index, but I mean it certainly seems like it is. Okay, so that does make sense for this. Does make sense that that's instrument index. Okay, I'm going to rename this one, because I am 100% sure that's calculating volume now. Now, this value in between the ADSR and the volume value in the instrument structure, in what you pasted, it's 0.
Yeah, that is probably...
It's 0 across the board there. It's something to do with volume. It's used in volume calculation.
set as unknown.
Yeah. So the way it's used, if it's 0, the volume is just returned. And if it's non-zero,
Then it takes the last bit of it.
it scales the volume down and ORs it with that value as the high byte. I really don't know.
Probably the particle effects graphics gonna be probably significantly more tricky than sound.
What's going to be more tricky? I didn't catch that.
Mighty G was asking what's worse, getting the particle effects working or the sound.
Yeah. The thing with the graphics is that probably about 85% of the game's code is graphics code, and probably about 85% of the graphics code is special effects. There is an insane amount of it. They probably spent like almost the entire game's budget on graphics. And it's almost entirely in combat where all that code is, like in the full 3D engine. So that's why the combat graphics are in a much worse state than the rest of the game, just because there's such an insane amount of code there. I have a feeling there should be more of an offset there. Maybe not. Let's take a look at that real quick. That is 59F3C. Nope, that's right. Okay, that's fine. I'm not really sure what this table is. It seems to be used for a few different volume-related things. I think it might have to do with panning. Yeah, that seems right. Because if you look at the table as values of left, right, left, right, left, right, you can see that the right channel stays constant up until the midpoint, and the left channel starts low and works its way up to 80, which is normal volume. Well, it gets to almost 80, and when it reaches that point, the right channel starts going down. So yeah, that I would say is almost definitely panning table. Okay, so let's turn that into an actual structure here. the right channel starts at 10, so I'm guessing that should be the end. That's kind of weird. It looks like panning
Yeah,
to the
it's
right
weird
actually
that
goes farther than panning to the left.
it is a little weird. One channel cannot be fully disabled, but the other can.
Yeah. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Hmm. Okay, well, we'll just go with that, I guess. So 32 values. Length is 32. Stride is 2. It's reset. Eventually we will allow you to just set like a frame rate multiplier.
Actually, maybe when it gets uh, coupled from the frame rate sometime in the very in future, you might actually just be able to set like delta time multiplier.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really know what this value means. If it's 4, it uses just the instrument's pan, and if it's any other value, it uses something else.
So Maituji asks if it would be possible to condense a lot of the code for graphics, and how much of an improvement would that make? I think from the rough guesstimates that you were making off of the profiler, it was like something like 70% of the CPU time was spent doing calculating graphics.
Yeah, and that should be noted too. That that 70%, I already cut down the time it took to render a frame by like 70%. So once Legend of Dragoon uses what's called real-time graphics almost entirely. So basically that means that every single frame, the entire scene's geometry is recalculated. So everything from player models to the battle stage background, enemies, everything, every single frame, the game has to process all of the geometry, transform it, upload it to the GPU, and then the GPU has to draw it. That's not how it works in modern rendering. Basically what you do is when you load a model, you sort of like compile it and upload it directly to the GPU, and then you just have a handle to that data on the CPU. And then every time you want to render it, you just say render this model at this location, and the GPU actually does like most of that work for you. So all of that time that's spent on the CPU doing all that rendering and all the transformations and everything, that literally just goes away. Like it's just not a thing with modern rendering. So that's going to be a big improvement when we make that change. Justin, yeah, we're still working on music. We've made a whole lot of progress, both tonight and over the past week or so since the last stream. A lot of the music is actually like playing. It doesn't all sound great, but you know, baby steps.
Well, you can tell which song it is.
Yeah, you can definitely tell what song it is, and for the most part they sound correct. It's just that the tempo is very it swings a lot.
Yeah, we should test that on the Archangel's SFX.
The Archangel's SFX. Why do you say that?
He has like those. Not sure what it is. I don't remember if it's a bagpipes or whatever, and it's like off tune and stuff like that. We would never be able to tell if it's correct or not. Yeah, the trumpet. Yeah, the horn. It's probably a trumpet. Something like that, yeah.
Drew asked if it's similar to procedural generation, the real-time stuff I was talking about. Not really. So procedural generation, it's actually generating everything using algorithms. In this case, like all the model files and all the models actually come from files on disk. But it has to like transform everything, which involves piping it through the geometry transformation engine, which is a piece of PlayStation hardware. Fun fact: the PlayStation 1 can't actually handle fractional numbers, floating points. It does not have a floating point unit at all, which is used extensively for rendering graphics. So you have to use a coprocessor, and it's this whole big thing where you've got to send data through registers, and it's kind of a nightmare. It works, but it's not pretty. Modern rendering is a lot easier.
To answer the I2G's question, like if this is converted to like a modern format, the amount of data that's actually being used by the game probably should, on like modern hardware, it should be able to run at like 1000 FPS or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, frames per second is an inverse measurement anyway, so as rendering speed increases, frames per second actually goes up exponentially. So I mean, you know, with very easy rendering loads, it's really not uncommon to see frame rates in like, you know, tens to hundreds of thousands. With what Legend of Dragoon is actually rendering, the tiny little models, the very small amount of actual triangles that it's rendering, like, you know, 4K 60 is literally nothing. Okay, that's all done. Now this table was used in the actual pan calculation. The weird thing is with this is it's actually using a value from that table as an index into the same table.
Why?
Right? I have no idea.
Oh, dog, I like you. I heard you like tables. So I put a table in your table.
Yeah.
That's actually the same table.
Yeah, it is. It's the same table. I promise.
It's tables all the way down.
It is. This game engine is insane. Literally insane.
before you set the table flip flag to true.
Yeah, okay. We should fire this up and make sure I haven't broken everything, because it's been a while.
Probably.
Yeah, increasing the frame rates is going to take a pretty substantial rewrite. Nope, we broke everything. Increasing the frame rates is going to take a pretty substantial amount of rewrites because they do not. They have a lot of the well, some of the animation code actually does use delta time, which it should, but most of the code that handles like timing stuff just uses the frame time.
Frames.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty substantial.
I mean, for games that are frame locked, like Legend of Dragoon is, it makes perfect sense to not use delta time.
Yeah.
I believe using the frames is faster. Well. Since there's less math you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Justin says, is it harder to keep perspective correct based on where it came from, PSX hardware? That's the biggest change I make when I emulate, like warped and popping textures and geometry. Actually, fun fact, Legend of Dragoon on hardware is actually not in the correct perspective. Like, the retail game is actually stretched. They use some really weird aspect ratios that are not quite 4:3. It seems that they accounted for that with the background images. For example, right now in the decomp, it renders everything at the exact correct aspect ratio. So one example that Drew found is in the desert. When you can see the moon in the decomp right now, you can actually see that the moon is stretched out a bit because in the background image that they made, they actually like produced the image at the incorrect aspect ratio, so that when everything was squished down, it looks right. The problem with that is that it also squishes down all the 3D models.
Well, aren't some CRTs actually 5:4 aspect ratio or something like that?
It's also not 5:4. So for example here you can see that there's black bars at the top and bottom. This window is in exactly 4:3 ratio. That being said, on retail and on emulators, the menu options actually kind of look bad because the text is squished. You can't really tell on retail if you're playing on a CRT because CRTs have a lot smoother picture. But when you're playing on an LCD screen or the like, you can really see that there's a lot of like resize aliasing on these on the text here. Now the question is,
Like the constant stream of errors in the background.
yeah, I set it up so that the sound thread will constantly be restarted if it crashes. Since when I first added the sound effects, it was super unstable. And that just kind of made it so, like, if you know, if something did crash in the sound code, then you wouldn't just lose all your sound; it would just restart itself. But if you have a fundamental error like this, then it'll just keep crashing and restarting. But it doesn't affect gameplay, so that's great. Question here is, did I get that table size right? And this method is producing bad values. or did I get the table size wrong and this is right? Pan value can go to is it OX40 normal?
Should be. Should be.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they did the aspect ratio thing. I think that with CRTs, when you use wider aspect ratios, you do actually gain an extra little bit of quality. Because CRTs don't actually work on pixels. They're sort of just like a constant redraw. They're analog, right? It's an electron beam being deflected by magnets. So there's no like discrete pixels on a CRT TV. So you know, if you're kind of cramming more image data in that same physical space, you probably do gain a little bit of extra quality. But that being said, on an LCD, that's not true at all. A really, really clear example of this, and if anybody has been watching the Friday live streams, you've probably seen it, is that some of the cutscenes, they use like a double wide aspect ratio. So on the decomp, they're like ultra widescreen. Yeah, Drew, I'm really not sure. It's a good question, and you know, unless you want to ask the original developers and they actually remember, then it's probably lost to time. That's my best guess, though. It's not a. I mean, when you think about it, Drew, that's an extra 640 pixels. You know, that is a fairly significant portion of 320. Like if we do the math here, that's an extra 20%, right? So
And you have to cube it, right? Because, I mean, square it, because...
yeah. So it's not insignificant. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think they expected anyone to be reverse
controlled.
engineering this game in 22 years. I mean, it may have been a trade-off because they would have then had to render the models double wide, and it's probably easier to deal with a tiny bit of squeezing than it is, you know, double squeezing. Keep in mind, it also takes a lot more processor time to render at like double wide than it does at just a tiny bit wider. Yeah, you might be onto something. Okay, back to this. Did I do the math right? Let's verify that. This is the start of the table. Yes, 64 entries divided by left and right. But if the pan value can go from 0 to 80 with hex 40 being in the middle, then that's 128 values, so the table should be twice that size. but these definitely are not pan values down here.
I see a pan value of 57, so it's not like it even goes in like even increments.
Yeah.
Can be odd.
So, we're going to put a breakpoint here. Yeah, so the very first pan value is OX48. So, the question is that correct? I'm going to try and see if I
The
can figure out the size of this table.
max right channel should be 7F. So it should be like 80 values.
So this looks like it might be a table of tables. And its size is that minus that OX400. Yeah, Justin, that is exactly it. So I use Ghidra, which is this program here. It is a disassembler. It can disassemble the MIPS code, which is this stuff. I started off literally translating it like line by hand, and I did that for way too long until I wrote a tool that actually does a lot of that for me. Drew says, do you expect to build with current music state by Friday? I'm definitely not releasing it for the weekly live stream as is, because the music is, it's not good. And I think it will get quite annoying playing in the background. That being said, if we can get it playing good, then, you know, if we can get enough people to test it by Friday, then I would be willing to use it for the live stream build. We're gonna have to get a lot of people testing a lot of stuff, though. Yes, you can.
Also,
Yeah.
if the mode is enabled, we'll have to fix the XA file unpacking, I guess. That one's broken on the main branch.
Yeah, we will have to do that at some point as well, for sure. Fortunately, that doesn't affect the actual music, just the Dragoon noises, but it's not good.
It's a very easy fix, but surely it might not work properly because the way it's unpacked the regular file. You need the headers because the stuff's in the lift.
Yeah, we might have to make a little bit of a change to the unpacker to get that to actually support the XA files as they are.
The the one I did for the transformation to the OGG format got it to work, but
Hmm.
getting it played within the code might be tricky, and setting up a proper sound playing will definitely not get done in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit less concerned about the XA files because they are fairly small compared to the music.
Mm-hmm. Just a few of them.
Yeah, you lose a lot of the game not having the soundtrack, and of course you do lose some stuff by not having the Dragoon spell callouts, but you know, not as much. Um, so basically, um, if you're interested in testing, you can pop into the modding channel on the Discord, um, and just let me know. It's just going to be a matter of playing the game. That's it. You know, just play as many different areas with music as you can, and make sure nothing crashes. Make sure there's no major issues. Yeah. Okay. So that value yielded OX48 divided by 2 is OX24. Okay, so that's the very first invocation of that, so that's really easy to test in no cache. Put a breakpoint here. Every time I launch the actual retail game in an emulator, I am astonished with how slow it actually is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For so long, I didn't have like sound enabled in SXE, and then I enabled it for testing something, and I realized how bad the sound processing is. That's
Yeah.
later.
Okay, so let's just look at the actual return here. And for the return value, it's A1, and it's OX48.
So that's correct, right?
Yep. 24. Yeah. Um, so that might be a bug. Because, I mean, like, clearly, looking at this table, it ends here. This is not pan volume. There's no way. It doesn't make any sense at all. Right? I'm not just crazy here. Not to mention this is being used in... Yeah, that's being used in reverb. So that's basically just, yeah, that's basically garbage RAM. So it's another one of these, what do we do with this? Because it's broken code.
We'll just try to divide it by 2 and see if...
Well, no, like dividing by 2 yields 36, and there's only 32 elements in there.
And the values have like 128 possible values.
Yeah, which is OX80. And we've got
Have
a OX40 byte table here, and the index is divided by 2. So that fits. That's correct. But we've got an out of bounds read that is present in retail. Now,
the good old C, where you call for an element that's out of, or index is out of bounds, and the C is like, here you go, fam.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're getting OX48 there. Shouldn't that... Hold on. No. This table doesn't make sense, I don't think. Something's not adding up right. I was wrong. This table is only has 22 byte entries. Hex 20, I mean. And this table, which is being used as an index into it, has much higher values. The highest values are 7F. If you have that, that's 3F, which is the size of the entire table, not the size of just the entries.
7F would make sense for the volume. That's usually the highest value.
That's not a volume table, though. That seems to be a table getting pan values.
I could see that 7F being the max value.
But it's being used as an index into this pan table to get the actual volume, and the pan table only has 20 entries. Let's run this a couple more times and see what we get. A148 again. 54, 48, 34, 68, 48. So we're consistently getting values that should be out of range. Yeah, pan is balance. This really doesn't make sense. And I mean, I didn't get the code wrong there because these are all using this in the same way. I would have had to have gotten that wrong everywhere. Yeah, and it's used the same way there as well. This is very strange. Yeah, so everywhere it's always divided by 2 and added with this, which is fine. So that's not wrong. But this can't be right. Like, this can't be. Yeah, like this is another struct entirely, and it's being used as a OX42 byte structure. Is this just completely broken? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. S0 mashup,
If it was,
59F3C.
it would mean that the pan is... the channel should be wrong, right? That should be audible, like the...
59F60. Let's look at that value. Okay, so that one is within the bounds, but I didn't check what the return value was. Wait. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we've got a value of 48. 48. So A1 is 48. Did I jump over something here? Okay, let's just start this over again. No, okay, I'm just gonna restart the emulator because we are in a different batch of code now. Okay, so 48, and we divide by 1, or shift right by 1. Okay, so V0 is, or S0 is 59F3C. That is correct. We're adding 24 to that, which is 59F60.
24 is still too much, right? If it only has 22 entries.
Have I just completely miscalculated something here? There's OX40 in between these. I know I'm doing something wrong here, but it's just eluding me right now. (32 times 2 is 64, obviously, which is hex 40.
It was the divide by 2 in the original code.
Yep.
I think the thing is, it's using the... Isn't it using the index into the table? You're using index of the object, and each object has 2 bytes. So you need to divide by 4?
Yes. Yep, that's the issue.
Okay, I have been useful today.
Yep, that's it. Exactly. Okay.
To my credit, it's 3 a.m. here, so...
Okay, so now everywhere this table is used, we're just going to do that. Okay, we'll do the calculate volume. Nope, wrong brace placement. And we now know that this is pan. I already did that one. Those I'll use calculate volume, so that should be good. Okay, no crash loop this time. Okay, so yeah, Lepri, when the lead guitar starts there, or well, I guess it's not the lead guitar, but the note in the middle of the song where they play like a higher note. Oh crap, we're getting crashed again. You can hear that it's playing both of those guitar samples at once. So I think that kind of confirms what we were talking about earlier. Okay, so it's reading out of bounds here when the song ends. And that might make sense since there's not necessarily a parameter at offset 3. Anyway, I'll look into that later. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, the submap music isn't working at all anymore, so we can't see if Celeste is still being played on bagpipes. The Best World Map song doesn't sound too bad. Combat music sounds pretty good. You are welcome. It doesn't sound good, but it also doesn't sound terrible. Okay, that sounds pretty bad.
It's all about setting your standards very low.
Exactly. The lower your standards, the less disappointed you will be. And it's gone. We are in a crash loop. Anyway, that was fun while it lasted. I don't know why it just gives up printing the stack trace after a while. I wonder if IntelliJ actually detects that it's just printing the exact same crash over and over again, or if it's log4j maybe. Alright, so this here, this is a bit of a weird one. So I've got two SSSQ readers. One of them is the full file SSSQ reader, and then the other one is for the simple
Embed one.
sequence, like the one that's just a single sequence.
Mm.
Not even embedded ones, but for the ones that are
Oh,
literally
yeah.
just a sequence embedded into an SSHD file.
Mm.
Now, that version of the reader does not implement the entry method, which is to read the entries at the top of the file. These ones here.
Mm.
Because obviously it's just one single sequence, like, you know, something like that. It doesn't have the headers, or it doesn't have these entries in the header. But the game is trying to read those entries for some reason.
Maybe those entries are set into the memory from something else?
That's a good question. I really don't know. The song does seem to play fine without it.
That is true.
Okay, where is this getting called from? Okay, so it's this method here. this is quite odd. Because it looks like this code here should be reading those entries as well. I wonder if this is a race condition. Like, this code is running on the SPU thread, and then the code on the main thread is swapping out the music file.
And we just do it too fast.
Yeah. Because this is, like, look right here. Like, this is using that entry method from the SSS key reader from struct124. Struct124 comes from this variable here, C4AC4, or C4AC8. We go into this method, C4AC8. It's using a different index, possibly. Okay, this branch always has index equals 0. Yeah, okay, this is using channel index. Let me make sure that's correct. C4AC4. No. Right, okay. C3A40, field 1A, which is that. If it equals 0. Yeah, I think this is actually wrong. C3A40.
It's not equals in the code, or
No, it's
equals?
using the wrong index.
Huh.
I think it should be channel index here. My2G, you said you were the most recent person to donate to my Ko-fi account. Are you TKH? Whoa. I don't know if you caught that, but that wasn't right.
I mean, the dart running
Into the ocean.
into the ocean.
We're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Just went for a swim, you know. And somehow you countered a seahorse in the middle of the sea.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Okay, so we definitely got a lot of weirdness here. But, yeah, there we go. So that did fix the crash at the start there. But there's definitely some major issues with the playback.
It looks like it might have crashed at the end of the loop, possibly.
Yeah, I think you might be right. That is the same spot where the main menu theme crashed when it got to the end of the loop. So maybe it isn't looping. Although the main menu theme does not loop.
So it's still a crash though.
Yeah, it did. I'm curious about something. Just gonna let this play until the end of the loop. So everyone can enjoy this. Okay, so what do these ones have? Yeah, so that is the end of sequence flag. So I think what we want to do here is if spu124.command is equal to 0xff or spu124.param0 is equal to 0x2f? That's right, isn't it?
At the last sequence
Yeah, it's
thingy,
ff2f.
it's FF to F00, I think.
Yeah, okay. I guess we can check the other one too. So we'll only read that if we're not at the end of the sequence. Again, this is something that is fine on the PlayStation because it's C++, or well, it's not C++, it's C, and there's very little memory safety.
Like the drum solo.
Yeah, beautiful encore. Okay, no crash that time. We can get a quick listen to a good rendition of the song. Let's go to Sergio.
Actually wonder how much will the sound quality of these improve?
That is a very good question.
And it's actually converted and played on using modern interpolation and much better sound processing units. If I remember it correctly, on a lot of these old games, the sound processing units produced like quite like jagged, what to put it in forms, yeah, because they weren't powerful enough to display it accurately.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that loop worked. Let's try getting into battle here.
Actually, here, more than anything else, it sounds like it's reloading the sound too fast.
Yeah.
Everything sounds wrecked. It's just like cuts, kind of, when the new part loads in.
The loop is definitely working, so that's good. Let's try a couple of attacks. Hopefully that's working. That sounded a bit weird. Oh, we got a crash here. Okay, so this is actually using code that we haven't seen yet. We might have fixed something.
Maybe it's the cutting of the data?
It is a parameter that has not been seen yet. Where the hell is Ghidra? There it is. Do I not have? Okay. So this is the SM translator. I just paste the Ghidra dump into it. Why? Are you trying to load the wrong main class? Okay, we gotta give this a minute because it's building. Okay, so that gives me a dump of a mostly translated assembly. Then it's a matter of just restructuring this. This one is a little bit odd. Let's see if I flip this. Okay, this is just the compiler being weird. So that can be converted to that. This can move up here. This turns into an OR statement. That's an add. No, the sound is running in its own thread, and it's running at a solid 60 ticks per second. Convert all this. Okay, so that is just array access. That's easy enough. A0, 11E. A0 is channel index. Oh no, actually I should probably do this. Whoops, that's not the buttons that I wanted to press. This stuff has changed a bit. There we go. Alright, that should do it. Alright, let's try finishing that fight again. Okay, for a second there I thought we weren't getting any music, and I was like, how did that break it? Yeah, okay, that fixed it. Oh, it looks like I missed one of these. Okay, so that needs to be divided by 2, so we can just get rid of the times 2. My 2G, I wouldn't say it's more annoying than I anticipated. There is a very, very good reason that I've put it off, I've put off working on the sounds for 2 years. This type of file is a proprietary format that like no one actually understands. There's very few games that use it because it's an interim format as like a transition between the PS1 and PS2. I only know of maybe 4 or 5 games, Legend of Dragoon being one of them. It's just games that came out in like the end of the life cycle. So this is kind of like new ground, and there's no information available on any of these formats.
Yeah, pretty much as far as this format goes, this is probably the most advanced project that regarding to that.
Yeah, definitely. As far as I know, there's like no one else even working on this. And I mean, the same can be said for the game's script engine, because, it's literally the only game that uses it. The script engine was written for Legend of Dragoon specifically. But, that was a lot more important to get working properly, because the entire game's functionality is based on that.
Like the God Rays on Shana Attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure why the menu music isn't working. Let's take a look at the logs and see if it's trying to load music here. I'm going to close this, and I'm just going to put a bunch of spaces here. So it is loading the menu music package. I know for a fact that's the menu music. Sound bank is getting uploaded to the SPU. Another sound bank is getting uploaded to the SPU. Oh yeah, there's sound playing in the background. My bad. Okay, so that is one of those 5-file music packages, I think. Actually, before I say that, let me actually just look. Yes, it is. So that could be the issue.
What was the last one? Was it the wave thingy?
No, the last one's the sound bank.
I mean like the extra one.
That's the SSHD. It is... no. I think it's the first file, isn't it? No? Okay, so there's just an extra file with...
For ID.
yeah.
Just
And I
maybe
mean,
replace it.
these do have IDs in them as well, so I'm not sure that it is an ID.
Yeah, I think I'll have to call it a day for.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. We're coming up on in 3 hours here, so I think I'm just gonna commit this code and call it a night.
This rate, I'll have to call it a day.
Yeah. What time is it there? Like 4 o'clock?
Yeah, almost 4 a.m.
Yeah. Well, sorry for keeping you up so long. So yeah, I think we'll call it here for now. If anyone is interested in testing this out, pop into the Discord server. I think Drew linked it a little while ago, and just come to the modding channel and give me a ping. Thanks to my Ko-fi supporters, Zach Vorthod and Jman00, and TKH for the recent $35 donation. My2G mentioned a donation as well, but I don't think that's come through yet. And we will hopefully see everyone on the Friday game stream. Good night, everyone.
Yep.